The compliment combo. Imagine you're at a party, the kind of place where the music's a little too loud, the lighting's just dim enough to obscure familiar faces, and the social battery is already draining even though you just walked in. You don't know anyone. Your brain's scanning the crowd like a radar pinging for anyone that feels like a safe opening. Then you spot someone across the room. They're wearing a jacket that looks like it dropped straight out of a legendary loot crate in some game that values style as much as stats. It's bold, it's unique, it's the kind of jacket that tells a story before its owner even says a word. You walk up and compliment it, not in a generic, forgettable way, but with purpose. You highlight that specific piece, the way the colors pop, how it fits their whole vibe. Here's the secret. That kind of compliment isn't just a conversation starter, it's a social lockpick. A well-placed, thoughtful compliment cracks open the armor of awkwardness. And the real magic? It's all in the details. Skip the bland, you look nice, or the vague, cool outfit. Instead, zoom in. Compliment their mismatched socks that scream personality, the enamel pin that reveals a hidden fandom, or the way they've layered textures like they're building a character loadout. People don't remember every word you say, but they remember how you made them feel. Whether you noticed them, really saw them, and gave them a moment to shine. That's what a great compliment does. It gives someone a split second of feeling known. The name drop resurrection. You're introduced to someone new. They tell you their name, you nod, maybe smile, acknowledge it politely, and then just like that, it's gone. Lost to the abyss. Your brain deletes it with the same speed it clears browser history when it's trying to protect your dignity. It's not even personal. It just happens, over and over again. Here's the fix. It's deceptively simple and wildly effective. Use their name immediately. Find a natural moment to work it in. When they mention their hobby, their work, or something they're passionate about, speak their name like you're hanging a lantern on it, lighting it up in your memory palace. What this does, beyond helping you remember, is something deeper. It makes the other person feel like they've just been elevated, like they've moved from background extra to featured character. We're all wired to respond to our own name. It cuts through noise, activates our attention like a ping on a personal radar. And when someone uses your name genuinely, early in the conversation, it feels intentional, respectful, personal. But remember, balance is key. Use it naturally, sparingly. Too much and it starts to sound like a sales pitch. Just enough, and it tells someone, you're not just another face in the crowd. You matter enough for me to remember who you are. The mirror move. There you are, mid-conversation, facing someone whose energy is wildly different from yours. They're either all caps and caffeine, or they're speaking so softly and slowly it feels like you're in a nature documentary, narrated by fog. You're not sure how to meet them in the middle, or if there is a middle. It's like tuning into a radio station that's playing static and trying to figure out the song. That's where the mirror move comes in. It's not about copying or parroting, it's about syncing. You adjust your rhythm to theirs. Not to manipulate, but to connect. If they're laid back and slow-paced, you match that ease, letting your words breathe a little. If they're full of excitement and bounce, you bring your energy up, letting your tone match their tempo. It's subtle, it's respectful, it's powerful. Because when someone feels like you're on their wavelength, the social walls drop. It feels less like a performance and more like resonance, like a dance where both people are actually hearing the music. But here's the important bit. Don't overdo it. You're not a reflection, you're still yourself. This is about harmonizing, not hiding. You're tuning your frequency to theirs, but your signal should always come through clear. The 3-second rule of entry. You spot a group deep in conversation. The circle isn't fully closed. Physically, there's a gap, but mentally, emotionally, it feels like walking into a movie halfway through. The doubt creeps in fast. Your brain kicks into overdrive, spinning a worst-case scenario reel like, what if they all turn and stare? What if they laugh? Here's where the 3-second rule becomes your social superpower. The moment you get that gut instinct, that little internal nudge to jump in, count down from 3, and then move. No negotiating. No letting the spiral start. 3, 2, 1, go. Confidence doesn't strike like lightning. It's not waiting for the right moment. It's a decision, a bold click on the mental join now button before your brain can load the hesitation. That 3-second window, that's your portal. If you wait longer, doubt walks in and takes over the controls. Trust the impulse. Push past the hesitation. The longer you stand outside the circle, the harder it gets. But when you step in, quickly, cleanly, confidently, you shift the narrative from outsider to participant. And suddenly, you're in the scene instead of watching from the edges. The echo hack. Someone tells you about a new hobby they've picked up, say, juggling. Your instinct might be to nod, say, cool, and move on. But that's a missed opportunity. Instead, zoom in. Pick one word, like juggling, and toss it back into the conversation with curiosity. Maybe ask what they juggle with. Pins, oranges, fire. That small echo, repeating the key detail and expanding on it, does 2 incredible things. First, it signals that you were actually listening. Not just hearing sounds while waiting for your turn to speak, but really paying attention. Second, it hands the mic back to them, with an invitation to go deeper into something they care about. It's not about hijacking the moment with your own story of that one time you juggled apples at summer camp, not yet anyway. This isn't your scene to steal, it's theirs to explore. Think of it like throwing another log on their conversational fire, giving them room to expand, illuminate, and feel heard. Echoing with intent shows presence. And in a world of half-listening and distracted replies, that kind of presence is rare and powerful. The vulnerability vibe bomb. You're locked in the polite prison of small talk. The conversation has all the depth of a kiddie pool. You've already covered traffic, the weather, and how everyone's so busy lately. It's starting to feel like you're just pressing shuffle on a playlist of polite noise. Here's your secret weapon, the vulnerability vibe bomb. It's not about revealing your deepest wounds or trauma dumping over chips and dip. It's about cracking the surface, just a little, saying something real, human, unexpected, like, honestly, I wasn't sure I'd know anyone here, and I almost bailed. That one sentence shifts the whole atmosphere. It gives the other person permission to drop their own guard, even just a little. Maybe they felt the same. Maybe they're relieved someone else said what they were thinking. Vulnerability is connective tissue. It's what turns social interaction into bonding. Used wisely, it deepens the conversation instantly. Just remember, it's not a floodgate, it's a spark. Share something small, honest, and human. That spark can light up a real connection. The exit portal. You're deep in a conversation you didn't sign up for. Someone's walking you through the multi-generational lore of their kombucha startup, and you're trapped. Your social stamina bar is flashing red. You need out, but without ghosting or looking rude. Here's your escape sequence. Craft a gentle but firm exit. Something like, I'm gonna go grab a drink, check in on a friend, hit the restroom, but it was great talking to you. It's clean, respectful, gives closure without over-explaining. Social energy is a resource. You've got a limited budget, and spending it wisely means knowing when to step away. It's not about being dismissive, it's about pacing yourself. The best exits leave no hard feelings. They offer a graceful fade, not a hard cut. Mastering the exit is just as important as mastering the intro. It keeps you in control of your time, your vibe, and your boundaries. The callback connection. You had a brief conversation with someone weeks ago. It wasn't earth-shattering, just a light moment where they mentioned their love for frogs. Maybe it was a passing comment. Maybe they had a frog tattoo or used a frog emoji in their handle. The kind of detail most people would forget. But today, you remember, and you send them a frog meme. No explanation, no fanfare, just a simple callback. And it lands. Why? Because in that moment, you've done something most people don't. You remembered, you paid attention, you saved their tiny detail like it mattered, and now you've brought it back, like a secret handshake only the two of you know. Callbacks are conversational spells. They say, I heard you, I remembered. You left a mark. They're not about the frog, they're about the connection, the invisible thread that turns passing interactions into lasting impressions. Bonus hack. The curiosity catalyst. You're mid-convo, and things are starting to dip into autopilot. They're telling you about their job, their weekend, something vaguely interesting, but delivered with that polite, just keeping the social gears turning tone. Most people would nod, smile, let the topic drift into oblivion. But not you. You've got a secret weapon. Intentional curiosity. Here's the move. Listen for the thread that isn't being pulled. The part of their sentence that feels like a door they walked past but didn't open. Maybe they said they were working on something new, or that their weekend was kinda wild. That's your moment. That's the thread. Pull it gently, with interest. Ask, what was wild about it? Or, what kind of project? Not interrogating, just opening the window a little wider. Curiosity, when genuine, is magnetic. It signals that you're not just passing time, you actually want to know more. And when someone feels like you're truly interested in their world, they light up, they drop the mask, the conversation deepens. The key is to be curious about them, not just the facts. Ask about the why, the how, the feeling behind the surface. What made them start? What surprised them? What's the best part? These questions don't just keep the talk going. They turn it into something meaningful. And the best part? You don't have to be the most interesting person in the room. Just be the most interested. That's how real conversations start, and how unforgettable ones happen.